good morning, you too. I'm a little early this morning. Why? Have no idea, but I wanted to talk, help wake me up and get me down the road. Why? Because this is going home day. Not technically, but I figured out that I'm heading up north to New Jersey. I can sneak in a 34. A 34-hour reset. What is that? What is a 34-hour reset? For us truckers, that is, we are allowed to operate a certain amount of hours per day. When those hours run out, we get what's called, we're on a recap. So, say for example, if I drive 6 hours today, same day next week, Friday of next week, I get 6 hours back at midnight, and that's what I'm allowed to drive. So sometimes when you're doing like long distances and you're on your recap, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Well, I've been on my recap for about 2 weeks now. If I stop and sit for 34 hours exactly, I get I'm 70 hours back, something like that. I'm getting old, I forget, but I'm back on my full hours, so I can run stronger, better, you know, get down the road. A lot of times I forget that, and I just run. I'm tired. And it's when you're tired, pull over. Don't hurt yourself. Don't bother. Morning, morning, my man. Morning, Mike. You such a night owl is ridiculous. But I just decided to get on and just just start mumbling. I haven't mumbled in a while. Um, the I just wanted to, like I said, when if I'm gonna do a 34, I'd rather do it at home. Coming up because I have a high blood pressure, which I'm getting tired of this. I'm gonna start working on it this year. Um, I've been getting back on, my lifestyle of trying to eat right and getting that stuff. I got to get this. I got to get this under better control. But I get real nervous coming up. Actually, it's July, but I want to go take my exam, my DOT exam in June. But I get nervous, and one of the things is because I'm getting old, my eyes are getting, screwed up, and it seems like they want you to have eagle eyes because I've been looking like I can't see that. I couldn't see that if my eyes are great. It's so far, far away or whatever. But I'm trying to get home in time so I can go to Walmart and the Vision Center and get a new eye exam. These glasses I have are only a year old, but it seems like I'm having a hard time. I don't know if it's just me. I'm having a hard time see whatever, but I get nervous taking tests, even an eye exam. So I'd rather get my eyes checked out now, order me a pair of glasses, tell the doctor my concerns, and then, next 34 I get probably be a couple of weeks from now, I'm gonna go to the doc and tell the doc what's going on. You got to start getting ahead of the game instead of acting like there's nothing wrong. The problem with our people, we blow stuff off, and next thing you know, you're dead. You blow stuff off. Next thing you got to have your foot, leg amputated because you don't want to listen to nobody when they tell you got diabetes. Well, I'm gonna have my sugar. I thank God that a while back I stopped with the sugar. Not the sugar, but I used to get Reese's peanut butter cups and Snickers, and I would just down them all, and then middle of the night I'm waking up and I'm barfing on the side of the truck. I'm like, I'm gonna eat that double greasy double cheeseburger. Then in the middle of the night, I'm barfing on the side of the truck. You know, I, you know how when they say that, doing the same thing over and over and looking for different results is, insanity. Well, bro, I'm living straight up insanity. I, you gotta figure yourself out. Um, the other thing is I'm gonna go home and do me some lawn care videos to do a few because that's where I get my subscribers from. And I'm kind of missing it. I've been out for about like I think 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks. I'm kind of missing it. I want to. My wife said that the backyard is getting tall, but because I every time I come home, I'm throwing seed down. I've had enough. Um, and because I got a lot of old seed. They say with grass it only lasts a certain amount of time, so I'm throwing that seed down there and hoping something takes it. If it takes, it takes. If don't. But that's one thing I like to do is buy grass seed. Why I have no idea, but I like to buy grass seed. The Oh shoot, you know, I, you guys probably cussing me out. I'm in the middle lane and whatever. They'll get over it. But this week has been an adventure and a reminder of the past. A lot of times we try to forget about our past. We try to, you know, um, let it go. And with me, when I try to let it go, it holds on even for dear life. But when I let it just do its thing, it eases up and lets go. I've jumped out of my comfort zone a whole many times. Again, I need to get back into my comfort zone, but stop being afraid. You know, the stuff I talk about is stuff that comes from the heart. It comes from where I've been and what I've been through and how I survived and made it. And then I can tell you, well, you can make it without being angry. I'm not saying that I haven't had my, ups and downs of being angry, but a lot of times my anger is I'm mad at myself because having such a gentle heart in such a harsh world is is rough. It's rough. You know, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's rough. The good thing is, a lot of you try to say stuff and hopefully it rubs off on someone. I've seen it rub off a few times, and I'm happy about that. That's what makes me happy. Um, a lot of folks, we be on here and we're not prepared for the viciousness. I don't know if that's a word. The viciousness of folks that are on this on this platform. They can be mean. They can be rough. They can be, even if you're not used to it, you got to watch your back. Some people come in and they'll say in your comments, you thought you did something cute or you thought your video, well, why are you doing that? That's got to be the stupidest thing known to man. I remembered I did, me and Charles, we just finished the live video and we were just standing and we know, hey, we're coming in the port. So why not videotape? We videotaped it and, always laughing and wow, I didn't know that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like when we're coming in the port on the cruise ship, a lot of these guys, they shoot a gun that shoots this thing with like a really tiny rope. That rope is connected to a bigger rope, then it's connected to the mooring rope, and you see like 10 guys or 7 guys out there pulling it, and it's pretty cool. Um, we had watched Holland America come in, and we noticed that the guy had. I noticed. I said, "What the heck is that?" And it was this, Caucasian old dude. You could tell he was old, and he was just butt behind naked, bent over, and I mean, shining bright in the darkness because it was clear as day. I videotaped it, but I blocked out the man to be respectful. I don't know this guy from a hill of beans. And I'm not That's not on my page, but we were laughing like, dude, you didn't realize you coming into port? Really? You didn't look over there and see that the whole world could be looking at you behind? And even the Filipino workers that were mopping the floors out there, and very pleasant, very pleasant. They're cracking up, going, "Ew, oh my god!" And we were saying the same thing. And I remember I did a short, and the person says, "What you over there looking for?" And dogging me out. And then I remember I posted it to TikTok, and I said, "F you," and the horse your ass rolled in on. We were out there we were out there just standing around. It's not like I'm searching like a perv to look at this stuff. You freaking idiot. You don't know what the heck happened. And I explained it and I covered it up. You didn't see the picture, but you got to act like an idiot. You know, we're when you're polite and nice, people tend to want to walk all over you. Then you got to act the fool. Well, I don't like to act the fool, so if I offended anybody, I apologize, and then get back to being yourself. A lot of times when I talk about stuff, you know, don't change for other people. Do you, boo boo? Be you, because a lot of times we wanna broadcast this fake facade. What good is it doing? Because you're fake. Be yourself. Be real. Don't be the one that just gonna keep it 100 and you say these mean and sarcastic things out. Think about what you say before you broadcast it, because you can't take it back after that. It's just my opinion. You know what I mean? You just can't. The I'm starting the ums already. Apologize. The ums. You know, I watched last yesterday the season. I think the finale of Picard, which is Star Trek, the Next Generation. I normally can't watch certain things, but I had to step up and take a deep breath and watch it, and it was pretty good. But I heard Worf Michael. I think his name is Michael Dorn, the brother on there, the Klingon, and he said towards the end of the movie that tears are a defense mechanism for pain. He said, even though he's a Klingon, even though I never cried, tears are a defense mechanism for pain. And that was kind of really eye opening, you know, to hear that. Even though science fiction, yada yada yada, but I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on to that saying about tears is a defense mechanism for pain, because a lot of times as a man, as a young man, as a boy, toughen up. Don't cry, man up, grow a pair. All of that. And I've just been the opposite. I'm gonna be me. I've had relationships disrespect me because they've seen me cry, they've seen me in tears, and not knowing that if I didn't let it out, I was gonna snap. You know, not knowing that that was a defense mechanism because I was going through something. I was dealing with something. I watched something that was so horrific, like watching my whole life. I remember when I was standing on the side of the road, no shirt, tidy whities and socks, after I got snatched out of sleeping in the back of a truck. I got snatched out of that truck by someone I did the right thing for. I fed the guy that had no money. He was my trainee, and I fed him, and he snatched. He caused the accident, but he came back for me. But I remember I was divorced, single, and everything I had, my whole life, my pictures, everything was in that back of that truck, and it burnt up. But not knowing that God had given me a new beginning. It was like, look, son, trust me. You're gonna thank me later. I'm going to. I got to burn it all up. You know what I mean? I got to take all of this crap out of your life. I'm gonna even take all your clothes. I'm gonna burn it down to nothing, and then I'm gonna restore you. I'm gonna lift you up. I'm gonna humble you, and I've seen your future. You're gonna keep that humbleness. You're gonna keep that humility. You're gonna keep being you. Be the person that I created you to be. You know. And as I cried and said, why is all of this bad stuff happening to me? Not realizing that it was the beginning of a new beginning. We talk about God, but everybody else laughs at us. We talk about Christ, but everybody else laughs at us. I remember, it was just a few days ago that, well, I'm gonna have sex and then I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to God and I'm just gonna, ask him for forgiveness. Like it's a joke. Like God is a joke. Then don't get me wrong, I'm a hypocrite too, but I'm not playing God like that. I know He sees every freaking thing I do. He sees all my weaknesses. He sees everything that I'm prepared to. He already knew I was going to do it. He already knew I'm hard headed. He already know. He already knows. For the people that thinks that God is a joke, you got an omnipotent, omnipresent being that has created stars. Watch the star be born and star die. Then you don't think He can't? He knows when you're gonna come before Him and think you're gonna. Well, Lord, I asked for forgiveness. Well, you wasn't. You really wasn't asking for forgiveness. You was just you were trying to play me. Do you see what I'm saying with all of this? You were trying to play me. And I'm not going to talk about all negative stuff, but I'm just saying like that song. I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na. I know sometimes to you just got to let it out. Sometimes you just got to be you. And there was one thing I did want to say. There's one. My buddy just got married, and I, I had to give him some really important advice. That advice was, you're in a relationship and your wife now has uh older children, older kids, whatever. The best advice I can give you when it comes to her children is mind your business. Even when she asks, mind your business. Because brother, there's nothing worse. You think you the lion of the jungle? There's nothing worse than a lion that's protecting her cubs. If she's, these children getting on my lap, well, yes, there, mind your business. Because if you say something that she don't appreciate about her children, she gonna light you up. Don't do it. Because no, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'll leave it at that. But back to, okay. Well, we're coming to the what time I was supposed to start. I'm Today I'm gonna talk about a hang up that I had and how I overcame it. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a, I'm not gonna put my business out here, and I'm not gonna put my wife. I'm gonna put, I'll put some out there, but certain things you don't want to say. I'm gonna put it this way. When I first met my wife, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. She asked me to move in with her, and I was cool with it. I've never been asked, and I was happy and happy with her, whatever. She was making a certain amount of money. I never asked. I found out later, and it was a good amount of money. And guess what? She makes a whole lot more than that. Even though we're married, I never asked. I don't, and kind of really don't care. I know and trust her, and I'm happy, and if you know that song, you're happy, and what, clap your hand, pop, pop. I'm happy. But the first place we were staying in, we were rent. She was renting a house, and when she explained her situation that she lost the house, and her husband wasn't acting right at the time, and she's struggling. It just killed her. I was in the same boat. I lost the house too. Wife wasn't acting right, same time. It killed her, killed me. I mean, I remember I was to the point that I had panic attacks. I was running around. I mean, it was really a real blown out panic attacks. I'm running around. I'm happy nobody's seen it, but I'm telling you, I was running around screaming at the top of my lungs. You would have threw me in a straight jacket. But I came to the notion I was gonna lose the house, and I did a lot of bad, poor life choices. I'm not blaming nobody else. Poor life choices. And I tell a story about her gaining this. She finally was in a position to buy another house. We weren't married yet. Um, I did, I, you know, I did ask her. I did ask her. I did ask her to marry me. So we were, when she got the house, we were. She was my fiance. And ladies, what y'all don't understand, man, our ego is so fragile. And again, I'm so clueless. I'm like, and I realized I was so clueless that I did have my ego was slightly fragile. But and we went in, and I remember I gave her the money. I gave her the money to down payment. I still didn't care. It's her home. It didn't really feel like my home till after we got married. Not because of the legal aspect, but after we got married and the treatment that she bestowed upon me, then it started to feel, and it became my home. But I felt useless. I really felt useless from time to time. Even though I was on the road, coming home, I felt useless. And I should have downloaded a picture so I could show y'all what the lawn looked like. But the way my property, our property, is situated, and the way it's set up, we're kind of going. If you stand at the street, and if you stand in my driveway, you look to the left, it's going downhill. The street's going downhill. So when it rains, there's like a little right at the driveway where the driveway and the sidewalk are there's a path where the water goes. But right where my driveway is, there is asphalt. It goes from the street, and it blocks that path, and it goes straight to my driveway. So when it would rain, the water would stop there, and instead of keep going down the sidewalk on the street, that path that it was made for, it actually made a beeline right down my driveway, through the trees. If y'all look and see that little joke I did, the short where you see the four trees left, and right through the middle of my lawn, and it eroded away over and over and over the years. It was like when we bought that, there was a crater in the front of the house. It was a big old crater in the front of the house, and the back fence, old rickety back fence, belongs to my neighbor behind us, was full of it's like vines or whatever. And if y'all know anything about bugs, especially mosquitoes, they have to find a spot where they can survive during the heat. And it actually was under that fence line right there. The fence where all the vines was. And I remember when we looked at the house, we got out the house. I mean, we got out the car and we were lit up by mosquitoes. Like, oh my God, oh my God. And we kind of overlooked the house. And later on, it was kind of a like a housing boom or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was the people were. By the time you looked at the house and you made the decision, by the time you said, "Hey, let's put in a bid for this house," it was already under contract. And this time and time and time again, these houses you're looking at, it's like, damn, that house is, that house under contract, that house under contract, that house. And I remember she was getting upset and she was getting frustrated, and I'm like, well, I'm just, I'm just here to be supportive. And I remember I said, well, hey, what about that house where we got lit up by them bugs? What do you think of that place? And she said, well, let's go back over it. We went back over there. I remember we sprayed ourselves down with off, and they were still getting in. It's like, oh my God. And I remembered she looked through the she looked through the window and started really looking and started eyeing the place down. And she said, I'm gonna call the realtor, we're gonna take a look inside and blah 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 yada yada yada. And I guess we got the keys and looked around. She fell in love with the place. And we, later on we put a bid in for it. It sat on the market. We got taken a little bit, but we dealt with it because the pipes were bad. They had those poly pipes. If you ever look at a house, look if you go in the attic or wherever you can see the pipes for the house. If those pipes are gray, you got poly pipes. They're known to collapse and fall out, fall apart. It's a bad news. You got to get the whole house repiped, and we did. Um, but that's another story. But we got the house, and I remembered this. This was the first. This was the beginning of the addiction that I wrought. She she had a whole bunch of credit cards, and I remember we went to Home Depot. It was, well, we got to get this, we got to get this, that, and she filled out a Home Depot card, and this was her mistake. She put me on her Home Depot card, and that was the beginning of that. That was the beginning of the end of my future addiction, and that's where I found my place. Because we got to get this fixed, we got to get that fixed, and people people were they weren't showing up, and I had to come to the notion. Wait a minute, I'm gonna have to start learning how to fix stuff. And I remember the first project we took on. I even still got a picture of when the dump truck dumped it. I could do it now because I'm in better shape. It took me 4 days, but I had a dump truck come, and I think I paid like $200-300 for some fill dirt, and he dumped it at the top of the yard, and all they had to take it was about 10 to 15 feet, and dump it in that big crater in the front of the yard. It took us a month to do that. And the last time I had it took me 4 days because I didn't realize the power of a 12 pack of beer. The power of a 12 pack of beer will numb your old raggedy ass up and get you to move when you don't want to move. And I remembered, and it dawned on me one day that, hey, I need to, where the driveway is connected to the street, I need to buy a sledgehammer and knock that mess out of there. So now when it rains, it keeps on going. And I started noticing stuff that I got to put some gravel right here so it won't erode this away. And, and stuff like that. I remember it didn't dawn on me that there's certain times of the year that you need to drop grass seed. It didn't dawn on me that there's certain times of the year that certain grass seed will grow and certain times it won't. There are certain grass seeds made for you to grow in Georgia and certain grass seeds made that you really shouldn't be growing in Georgia. And I remember the first time I dropped a whole, I think like a 50, I think it was like $50 of grass, and it was fescue. You and I dropped it. I put it on the lawn. I just threw it out there. Put it on the lawn in the middle of summer, which is a big no-no. Which is a big no-no. And I'm like, why ain't this growing? I didn't even prep the grass. I didn't, I didn't cut it. I didn't do nothing. But I'm sitting here just effing this up royally. And it didn't even dawn on me, hey, why don't you buy a sprinkler and water it? Just basic stuff like that. And I remember one time I bought annual. It's called annual ryegrass. And I finally started looking on YouTube. Finally started figuring out that you gotta either prep the soil, rototill soil. I ain't rototilling nothing. No. Let me say before I just say the annual. I bought a whole lot of sod, and I didn't even prep the ground. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna throw it on top of whatever the heck this is right here, and I just threw it on there, and I didn't even water it. I said, well, I'm just gonna throw it on there, put it all together, and I came back the next year. I came back a couple of weeks later, and everything was yellow. I mean, not just brown, but like bright yellow. And I'm like, what the heck? And I remember I spent a good couple of $100 on it. Everything was bright yellow. And I went to Superside. If y'all ever see Super, that is so expensive. Hey guys, I'm getting to the reason why I'm saying all this. And it didn't dawn on me. I didn't prep the ground. I didn't put some topsoil out. See, and then I said, you know what? I'm gonna leave that sucker right there because my whole front lawn was eroded away because of the water. I told you that came down, and there was no topsoil. There was nothing. It was all gone. And all of these mistakes, I was actually building some topsoil on my front lawn. It was freaking hilarious. And one year, after a while, I, you know, I finally said, I kept on going and getting a load of dirt, and throwing it down there, spreading it out, and I had a good part of the lawn covered with topsoil, and I got a 50-pound bag of annual rye. Remember, there's two different types of ryegrass: annual and perennial, and this stuff comes up within 4 days. And I threw that annual rye out there. And boy, it was luscious. And I'm on YouTube bragging about my stuff. And I'm a lawn care specialist, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm like, you can't tell me squat. My boo boo don't stink. I came back, went on the road, came back to my front yard was nothing but dirt. That was a couple of weeks later, and by finally starting to do my homework, I had put an annual ryegrass down. An annual ryegrass only lasts a certain amount of weeks. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I said all that to say this. I had it in my head that this was my wife's home, not mine. And I wanted to show her that I wasn't a piece of shit. I wasn't a dirtbag. I wasn't, you know, that I was worthy to be sleeping in this home. I was worthy of, and I would get out there for hours and hours on end to beautify or figure out, you know, this home. And I was doing it to show her that, hey, I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not a dirtbag. And she would say, well, we gotta get this, and I would figure stuff out. And I remember she said, when we moved in, and I looked, I said, I remember saying this, and this room's probably gonna be your office. And then no, 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 this is gonna be your man cave. And she's, you're gonna put a pool. We're gonna get you a pool table in the man. She's already decorated already. And I'm going, and I'm looking at the diameters at that a full size pool table ain't gonna work in here. You ain't gonna be at a certain corners. I'm like, this is gonna be your she shed or whatever. And that's where we developed our adventure wall and all that stuff. And she paints in there. She paints flowers all the time. She loved doing it. And her desk and her computer. And I remember I I filled up one of my Home Depot because I have two Home Depot cards. I had three of the bay windows in there replaced. Cost me like $2,500 for that. And I'm a person that learns by seeing and doing, and I got taken for that because $100 I could have put the window in, you know, and I started doing that in the back. I've replaced the door, removed the door frame. I replaced two windows. And I re I tore the deck apart, not knowing what I was doing. I replaced the whole back deck, repainted it and everything. And all I did that was, and I did these things for recognition to say, look, I don't make as much as you, but I want to be equal to you. And I realized this over the years. But then at a certain point, I started liking it. Isn't that crazy? I started liking it. And I started enjoying what was actually a lot of work to me. And I remembered she went to a yard sale and bought me a, a driving lawnmower. That was my first lawnmower. I had a ball with that thing, and I think it was a Craftsman. I didn't know how to work on it, and I didn't have my truck yet. And I remembered the belt came off. The belt from the mower to the blade housing and everything. The belt came off, and I had no way to get it to a repair shop. And I was tired of her old push mower, and we had a blower too. And I remember she bought me a leaf blower, Those are the three biggest things that I had. And I remembered, and this was another mistake, a poor life choice. We found this guy on Google that would come. We did. Here's where we made the mistake. We found him on Google, but didn't look at the reviews. The reviews, the guy was a effing crook. The guy, he said, "I'll come pick up your stuff, fix it, and bring it back to you." The guy came, picked up all three mowers, and we put half down, and the guy drove off, and I haven't seen him to this day. Yeah, 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 yep. I'm a dumbass. And I think I finally figured out where he lived, but he lived in the part of Georgia, which is, you know, um, where my black behind might get lynched. And I really didn't have what I have now, and I had to make the decision: is it worth going to prison over two lawnmowers and a blower? Is it worth it? No, it's not. And in that time, I started watching YouTube videos. I started looking at repairs for lawnmowers and things like that. And I remembered, I told, I said, baby, we got to make a choice. We still got to cut this lawn. And I remember she said, well, go ahead, use the car, go down to Home Depot, let's get a push mower. And then once again, it was frustrating and pushing and frustrating. And then she started noticing how frustrated I was. And when I was on the road, she said, hey, I, I got you a new, I just ordered from Lowe's. They're delivering it this week. A new Husqvarna 42-inch driving lawnmower. And you thought, boy, I was, I started tearing up again. And she said they're delivering it such and such. And I remember the day she sent me. I was on the road. She sent me pictures of it sitting in the our empty garage. I can show you what my garage looks like now. They delivered it, and brought it down and put it in the garage. And boy, I was on cloud nine. And I remember when I got home, I started learning about it, and I remember one of my first videos, which I actually it's got I think like 9,000 views now, somewhere around there. It's got about 9,000 views, and you could see the beer bottle in the holder, and I was giggling. I wasn't giggling because I was drunk. I was giggling because I was happy. No one ever bought me anything of value, and I was happy, man. And if you see what my backyard looks like, it's still a hot mess. But what it used to look like compared to what it looks like now, it was a hot mess. It was like you had to do four wheeling in the backyard. But I had cut the front lawn. I think it was like 10 15 minutes with that new lawnmower. But I would sit there and drive around the back, go all the way to the fence, drive down the fence line, not cutting anything because there's a lot of rocks and whatnot in the backyard, and drive up the left side of the house and circle the house like I was playing with a Tonka toy. And I realized, and I'm in, my early 50s, that this, I really never. had something that I really liked, like driving this silly ass lawnmower. And I would just get out there and just drive and just drive and drive. It was freaking hilarious. And I'd have a beer or two and just have a ball. And I found peace in it. And she knew, hey, I done caught him. He don't like so he likes this. And I would every time I come home, I would do something else. And when you got a HOA, they're the most annoyingest people in the world. But I turned it into a game. I turned it into fun. I turned it into something that was annoying. And I was like, okay, y'all, they sent this letter. And I don't want to cuss, but this is what I actually said to myself. Okay, you motherfuckers, y'all trying to get me. I don't need you sons of bitches to tell me how to take care of my motherfucking house. I'm gonna be ahead of the motherfucking game. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I mean, I literally said that, and I started to. So it to this day, I come home and I'm standing there, like Superman with your arms on your hips and looking around. What can I fix now? What can I do now? What can I get now? And I don't know when it happened, but that's when her home became our home. She is still the queen of this castle. She's still the lioness of our pack. When y'all you think about it. A pack of lions, the lazy ass. If you see the lion, the male lion sits on his ass, and the female goes hunting. She's the protector. She does everything. She really kind of running the show. But I didn't want her to see that I'm lazy. Like even now, I'm on my way home for 34. I'm gonna get it in, then I'm gonna leave early. I'm going to. I know my wife's love language, so I'm going to hit that lawn today. I'm gonna get as much as I can done today. But tomorrow morning, I'm gonna put on my good walking sneakers. If I got any, I gotta look around. I'm gonna put my shoe on and say, "Come on, baby, let's go to this. It's an old farm where you can go walk." I haven't dipped into her love language for a while. I'm gonna initiate. Let's go to the farm, or I'm gonna ask her, "Do you want to go to that park on the other side in Duluth, Georgia, where Charles had me walking through the jungles and the mountainside?" I think she would be more. I don't know if I can handle that one, but let's pray on it, and I'm gonna do a video so y'all get a good laugh. But I know her love language. That's what she loves, and when she sees I'm with her, she's in seventh heaven. And I just want her to know how much I appreciate her. Y'all, we all have the ability to learn something, and a lot of the people in the other groups that I sat in, I noticed the women saying, "Don't just say it, show it." And that's what I was saying when I'm saying, "Hey, you know what? Y'all ninjas are helping me get back on my game. So guess what I'm gonna do? Hey, we need to get up. And let's hit this. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's get out here and do this." And I'm going to for Saturday. I'm going to do that. And then we come back. I'm going to hit my spot and relax. My spot is the driveway. I'm gonna relax. I got a few things for my aerator. See, I have two holders, and I finally got the spikes. I got the 12 spikes I need, but I need four more holders. But I'm not going to buy them yet because I want to make sure that the spikes I got will actually fit in the two holders I got, and then that's when I'm gonna go order some more. They're 56 bucks a piece, so I gotta start watching my money because we going places and doing things. Can't stop, won't stop. So I'm going to while I'm when I get back on the road, maybe order one a week, and then put them in there, and then all I gotta do is get the hydraulics fixed on that aerator, and I'm thinking I might sell it. I might sell it for 3 or 4 grand. And guys, I only paid 200 for it. I can sell it for 3 or 4 grand. Do you see? You see what I'm getting at here? One, to make some room for something else I want to buy because there's an upcoming auction. But it's just you gotta open your mind to possibilities. There's possibilities for everything. And what I was talking about today is me learning my my weaknesses, building on my weaknesses, and not making it a problem. A lot of times you guys don't realize that, man, we're out down and out. You say, well, come and move in with me. As soon as you get in an argument, get the fuck out! Get out! It's that's your defense mechanism. Get out. You know what I mean? So I was even afraid of that for some time. But then I realized she's not that type of person, and I'm happy that she's not. I would have never been where I am if not going through all of these things. I would have never endured so much pain to have even an ounce of joy. Isn't that crazy? And just wondering, why did I come there? That's why if you look at my description of my page, it is a newly married truck driver learning to live, love, and navigate. I think navigate. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Let's see how hard this could be. And that's really it. That's why my name started getting longer and longer. Can't stop walking. And then but love mowing and cruising. And these central things, because, one person, I think it was a rapper or something, he said this I heard it on TikTok. He says, do you know takers can recognize givers a mile away? Do you know takers recognize you're a giver a mile away? Do you want to have a relationship with a taker, with a tanker? Yeah, someone who's full of horse manure. Do you want to have do you want to have a relationship with a taker, or do you want to have a relationship with a fellow giver that's going to give you all the love, all the support, and all of everything that you need, and then you give and you reciprocate back because you just can't help it. This the person you are. You want to give it all back. You know, I remembered hearing one person saying it was knowledge. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say that they were wrong. It says I lost respect, but see, they didn't give the clues in the live that I picked up on. I lost respect for my first husband because he stopped leading and sat on his ass and stopped working and everything. I had to keep working. He was lying to you and saying he was a giver. And as soon as y'all got married, he became who he really was a taker. Well, she doing all the work. I can just sit on my ass because she's gonna let me. She's gonna let me. And I remembered, and I said it in the story before, when we were dating, I was trying. I came off the road and was going to go into business with my father. They're called hot shots. where you drive an F-350 and a flatbed, and you do certain loads, and you get a lot of money for it. Well, my father didn't know about certain things, and he had trucking friends, but being him, people were afraid of him. They would not speak up. And I remember when my father passed, I went off on those friends. And in the hilt of the argument was a $6 sticker. See, you guys don't realize I drive this truck, and say if you got a diesel truck, remember this: don't get your diesel at a truck stop. You're actually paying 30 to 50%, 50 cents in IFTA taxes on diesel. Go to Kroger, go to some other place and get your. If you're driving a diesel, go somewhere because you're paying. We pay. Even Charles will tell you he know we pay money. We pay a certain amount of money in each state. Charles actually has a list. It's come to give a list of where the taxes are higher. And my father didn't realize this, that he needed an IFTA sticker for his truck and the pickup truck. And I told him, I said I could lose my license. And this, at the point, this is all I had. All I had was my driving. All I had was trucking. If you take that from me, what was I going to do? And I had to make the decision: listen to my father or listen to a very good friend who's been driving a truck for 30 years. And I said, should I go work with my father? He said, I wouldn't do it because he doesn't want to get this IFTA sticker. My father thought I would cower down to him because he was my father, and I had to make the choice of, okay, I just got to absolve myself of this situation. And he was like, I don't know why he just thought he could do the ghetto thing and not use his head, because I would have been pulled in every time at the scale house and fined, and they would have took the truck. They would have did all this, but he didn't want to listen. And I remember I was waiting for him to come around, and my girlfriend at the time, I overslept. I was still sleeping in the bed. She was on the way to work, and she got frustrated. And I remember she said, "You gonna get, I don't know what's going on." And I told her I was waiting on my father, but you need to get to work. And her not knowing, as a truck driver, if I don't have no violations, no CSA 2012 violations, if my DAC report is clean and my MVR is clean, I can get a job anywhere. And don't get me wrong, my DAC report wasn't always clean. We've been through some bumps and bruises, but I'm gonna get to the point of where I'm coming from here in just a second. And she said, "You're gonna have to get back to work." And long story short, when she left, I got on the phone, called Night Transportation when I'm still driving for the day. Hey, when's your first when are you doing your classes? Classes mean your introduction, fill out the paperwork, drive for the company. He said, well, Monday morning. I said, okay. I don't presently have a vehicle right now. Y'all have take. Can you put me up in a hotel there? Yeah, sure. I said, okay, go ahead, run my MVR, go ahead, run my DAC report. And I got online and gave you the okay. And, go ahead, run my CSA 20. Oh, you're great. See you Monday. You can start, go to hotel, whatever. And most of these truck stop hotels are in the hood. And I was laughing and we went, and I went, and she came home that night. I said, hey, babe, I had my bags packed. Can you drop me off at hotel, whatever? Why? What's the matter? Like, she was all, I said, no. I said, no, don't worry. I got a job. I start Monday. But my hotel's here. She was like all excited. She's like, I want to come. And she's like, I'm packing my bag. I want to come. Can I come? Yeah. Well, you can stay the 2 nights. You go to work from there, stay the 2 nights with me. She was excited. What did I say? I said all that. She thought that I was a taker. And over our marriage, I kind of became a spoiled right. She let me be spoiled, and I had to check myself, and I got to get back into being a giver again. And I understand I've done that. I've gotten lazy, and I'm just being honest. And I said that to say this. She thought I was a taker when I'm naturally a giver, and I give everything to her because she's all that in a bag of chicken. You know what I mean? But I said all that to say that sometimes instead of you getting even more and more mad, speak up, say, "Hey, nigga, I don't know where," and then you can even use the Bible. It's somewhere in the Old Testament, I don't know where, but it says, "If you don't work, you don't eat," unless unless something would, well, you know what I mean. I said all that to say this. I'm a giver myself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna naturally give. It might not be on your time, but when I realize, okay, I got to do this, got to do that, got to do this and that. You see what I'm saying? And when you're naturally a giver, don't you got to speak up. Now, I'm gonna just say that. We always say don't settle, but just speak up. Say, hey, we. I don't know. I don't know who taught you that, but you're gonna have to get to work. You gonna have to do something. And if I don't know how to do anything, I know how to work. It's so funny. I was looking at myself yesterday. I said, I started realizing a new thing. When my eyeballs hurt, it's time to go to bed. My eyeballs are hurting. And I looked myself in the mirror and I had bags on my because I'm running in the middle of the night, which I'm not used to. I usually get up 4, but I'm usually up now. Now it's 12, 1 o'clock. My body ain't used to this. But I learned from that one hiccup in the beginning where this is her house. This is, I just want her to be happy or whatever. I started learning that, hey, yeah, this is her house, but I need to show her that I'm worthy of her. And yeah, you can say, well, you didn't have to do all that. I had to do that for me. I had to do that to build up whatever in me was lacking. I had to do that. And like I'm when I get off today, she calls me in we talk every day on the way to work and I'm gonna say, yeah, babe, oh, it's Saturday. Do you want to go to the farm or you do? She always wants the hardest one though. I think I kind of owe this one to her. I said, do you want to go to the farm or do you want to go to that park over there in Duluth or whatever? It's a park, but it's like walking through the freaking woods. It'll be good, content for me, me huffing and puffing and all that. But I'm gonna say that today, so she'll be charged up. And that's sometimes you gotta look at. It's really it's the basics. And again, I'm not any type of expert, but I know this woman, I know this person, and I don't know her enough because even I could be bragging about all this stuff on here, and something I said hurt her feelings somewhere along the line, and I have to check to see if I can catch it because it'll build up, and then she'll explode on me, and then I feel like crap, and I'm feeling hurt that I hurt her in some small way when I think it's small, and I've gotten lazy. Some small way I've hurt her, and then I got to come back and make up for it. Like I was joking on Miss T a few days ago, saying, "Hey, bro, whatever you did, keep apologizing, but the main thing is fix it. Fix the problem. Don't Don't just shrug it off. Fix the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? Get in there. See, that's what we don't want to. Fix it because guess what? It's gonna happen again. You know, I got to remember a lot of times she's my wife. A lot of times she's. she's my friend. And you be like, oh, and you say stuff because y'all are friends, but sometimes saying that might hurt that person's feelings, and you're not realizing it. And then when you go back to, hey, she's my wife, whoa, 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 that hurt her feelings. Oh, oh, okay, sorry, dear, And, when you tell me, oh boy, I don't just take it and you multiply it times one. It's multiplied tenfold. I hurt your feelings. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hurt your feelings. I'm talking down to myself then. You effing idiot. You dog. You piece of shit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like them cartoons with a big cloud over my head. And that's why, you know, God might have put these conversations in my head to remember, hey, bro, you done got lazy. Get back on your game. So I'm gonna get back on my game. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going to be that all. That like remember the old army thing. Be all that you can be. That is the process of understanding. We talk a good game being positive, but when you start exemplifying it. Hey, big word of the day, exemplifying it. When you start doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, where you can actually, and I'm learning this the hard way. Most of you women don't want to be, y'all don't want to be tough. And I remember that, and I told this story a long time ago, because the wife she is the main provider of our house, and she was taking stuff that was just making her miserable. And I remember I called her. Um, I came home and she was crying, and it turned out it was her job. And I've never seen her cry. I actually once before that, and I know, no, I normally don't put my foot down, but I tell her, look, the hell with that, quit, and I mean right now. And I was so, how the Bible says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lead not to thy own understandings, all ways acknowledge him to direct the path. And what they're saying is you got to put every bit of your being in trust in God. And for some reason, right then and there, I trusted in God. I knew he was going to be all right. She later found the job for her. And, that's one of my jobs is I am her male cheerleader. She tells me, and y'all know I'm an empath, so I feel all of that stress when she talks to me. I feel all of that frustration when she talks to me, even though it's over the phone. It becomes painful sometimes. And sometimes I have to tell her, babe, can we talk about something else? And then she'll circle back around to it, and then I have to man up, grow a pair, and take it in and try to give a good suggestion, a good, babe, you're all right, you can do this, blah blah blah. No, and that's I, that's important to me to be that positive positive enforcement, to be her rock. We laughed about it. She said, thanks for being my rock. I said, well, how can I be your rock when you're my rock? And we're both rocks, and we're like rock molded together. It's funny, it's hilarious, but it's the truth. When you stay humble. But the other part is, a woman, I don't know, y'all let me know, I'll read it in the comments. A woman needs to know that she can loosen up some. It's funny. Miss T was said on a thing that, I'm kind of hard to, um, I'm kind of hard to deal with. The reason is because you had to do everything. You got your father. Your father is your foundation. I'm gonna give you one wrong thing that all women say, and I'm gonna prove it. I had to be the mother and the father. No, you're wrong. You had to be the mother, and at times you had to be the best mom. You had to be the stronger mother. You're always going to be the mama. You don't have a penis. You'll never be the father. But your father was probably the father figure that your daughter needed. And you see what I'm saying? You don't see when, and there are men that are taking care of, girls by themselves, or boys. He didn't say I had to be the father and the mother. I had to be the best father for my child I could be. You don't see men on Mother's Day, saying, Happy Mother's Day to me. Because maybe the mother got lost, got the child taken away. He had to, because of a crack or whatever. You don't see men saying that. Give us our day. And don't just because some other guy dogged you out. Remember, you made that choice. You made that poor life choice. Don't blame the rest of us. That's our day. And but guess what? And the same thing. And I'm not attacking. I'm just saying you had to be a mother, and at times I had to be even better than that for my child. When you have someone come in, say, even, and this is what I believe Pastor Donnie McClurkin was saying to my buddy when he got married. He said, "I know it's in you." He gave him the charge before he married them. He pointed. He said, "I know it's in you, my man, because I've seen you over the years. I know you can do this." He said, "At times it's going to be frustrating. It's times it's going to be even." He didn't say that, but I thought it's going to be emasculating because you don't realize that you've got this brick wall up so high that you've got claymores and missiles and everything that I'm not letting you in past this point. But if you just show as a man, you show that love, you show that desire, to show that even though you're being a son of a bitch, I'm still going to be here for you. And then you start realizing that, hey, I can be that feminine part of me that wants to be. And guess what? The husband knows. Hold up. We know we the muscles and we all that, but we become afraid of you not because you abuse us, but because we don't want to piss you off. We don't want the drama. We don't want this one. I remember one time, it's so funny. And I actually got afraid. I was cracking up because I started going off on this this waitress. And I don't like to do that because I was in the food service industry. But the lady completely forgot us. And there was like five other people that got sat after. They were fed. She forgot to put in our order. And I was saying this, and I wasn't yelling and screaming, but she started raising her voice. And Norm was sitting next to me, and a calmness came over, and I looked at her face, and I didn't say it out loud, but I said, "Oh shit!" And she said, "Who are you raising your voice to?" And she did. Like, I want to speak to the manager right now. And she just is calm, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was scared, and you know what? I didn't even complain or whatever. I think I started looking at my phone. I ain't say nothing. And then when the manager came over there, the management in my wife's voice start coming out and start, and I was like, I don't ever want to see that come out on me. You see what I'm saying? I said, I don't ever want to see that come out on me. And what I'm saying is, when you and you always say that most women, y'all be like, I gotta work on self, I gotta work on me. I'm gonna beat myself. By the time you fix everything, you might be laying in the casket. And I'm not saying this works for everybody, but I was a hot mess. When she met me, I was a work in progress, and I'm still a work in progress. And I'm appreciative of the love that's been given to me, and I try to reciprocate as much and as best as I know how. I'm gonna say it like that. But one thing I want to do is I want to get her on the YouTube, but she ain't gonna get up this early. I might do like a pre-recording, and we just talk and interview her and ask her. I think that would be some good content. But this week has been fun. It's been exhausting. I'm gonna start changing up the conversations over here. We're gonna leave this one for a minute because it truly is. It's exhausting. I'm wore out, you know. Um, but I'm gonna keep the positive things rolling forward. What we're probably gonna talk about Monday is all this gun violence. I know that ain't positive, but it might be something of the aspect of keeping yourself aware of your surroundings. Like if you're sitting in a parking lot, even to begin out, don't open the door before you get out. Look around. If you're about to leave, you'll lock your doors. Get in the practice of doing certain things because these some of these people are doing stuff and getting shot. You know, and I don't know if we're gonna have the I don't know what the title's gonna be. Is the United States becoming the Wild Wild West? I think that might be the title. You know, I now you can carry it in Georgia. I don't carry a gun because I'm one of the idiots shoot first, ask questions later, and I don't want to be somebody's boyfriend in jail. I don't carry a gun. I got them, don't carry it. You know, um, I prefer to buy another lawnmower because guns ain't cheap. The and I originally bought my guns not for protection, but to go to the gun range. The one gun I do miss is that I owned an AK-47 with two 30-round clips. You can't get those no more. Can't get those clips anymore. But that gun was fun to shoot. I'm not even gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. Not gonna lie, that gun was fun to shoot. It it could slice a person in half. But I loved going to the gun range. That was one thing that I enjoyed years ago. And I remember when I was in an apartment years ago, someone, I'm gonna give you a quick story. This guy, these Mexicans were sitting and hanging around my door, and I came home. I used to work. I installed satellites, and I came home in my van, and I was going to my apartment door, and the guy was in. I said, "Excuse me." And then the next day, he did the same thing, and he was leaning on the door, and I said, leaning on my apartment door, and I said, "Hablo inglés." He said, "No hablo." I said, "Oh, you don't?" I said, "Okay, motherfucker, hablo this. You sons of bitches been sitting there in my front door like you've been eyeing it for days. I'm gonna tell you this. Once I get past this front door and get my shit, I'm spraying all you motherfuckers to teach you a lesson that I'm not to be fucked with." And so-called Mr. Hablo, I know Hablo English. He figured I was gonna tear the fucking house down, and he got up and they took off, and I never seen him again. And I remember the next few days, a few days later, I said, you know what? Let me bring all my mess out and go to the gun. Normally, I carried it in the carrying case and all that. I've had my AK strapped around me. I had in my 357. I had my 41 Magnum, and I was coming out the house with all this stuff in my hand, going to the gun range. I said, let me show these because if they try to come through that door, I got something for them. And after that, never had a problem again. And it's a shame what you got to do. If y'all know me, I'm an honest, kind, gentle person. But every once in a while, you got to show folks that this crazy. But now that I'm older, if it's not life threatening, do you, boo boo? Do you? You know. But don't mess with my family. Trust me, you don't want to hear that either. But okay, guys, I'll see how Miss T be doing up 2 hours. How you do that? I, whoo, wow, that's a lot. As Charles would say, I got nothing left. I got nothing. As I say to the piss Charles, I got nothing. I'm gonna close it out, peeps. My peeps. I thank y'all once again for coming in. I thank you for just listening to me. You helped me to stay awake. You know, I'm heading home. Gonna sleep in my own bed. I'm gonna scrub. I'll probably be in the shower for about 40 minutes to an hour, and then give me some Epsom salt and sit in the tub and soak this fat ass of mine and relax and just enjoy life and just say, as always, thanks for coming in for all your folks. Thank the folks that came in on the remix. Yeah, I get to the point of a story. It just takes all day. That's why, hey, I that's how the hour gets by. I finally circle around to the point where I was talking about. But I just want to say, if you don't think anybody loves you, just know that I love you and God loves you too. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace out. Good old saying, peace and chicken grease and deuces. Later. Have a nice day.